I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Very pleased to have a repeat customer from last year, Mark Tercek.
Hi, Edie.
CEO of the Nature Conservancy. Thanks for coming back.
It's good to be here.
Tell me why you come to Davos.
Davos is a great place for me. I had a big nonprofit. Here I can sit down and meet with one global CEO or one government official after another. They're all here. They're thinking about how to make the world a better place. And the core argument I want to make to them is they should invest more in protecting nature. I argue that investing in nature is the smartest investment we can make.
So tell me how that works. Where have we seen governments investing in nature, and how did it make a difference?
There are a lot of good examples. Sometimes they arise from bad news. So as we all know, New York, where I'm from, had this horrible hurricane, Hurricane Sandy, devastating. Reminded people actually of 9/11, it was so devastating. So Governor Cuomo formed a commission of various experts to figure out what New York can do to protect itself. I was pleased to be put on that commission to represent the Nature Conservancy. And as you would imagine, a lot of engineering experts argued for investments in seawalls, that kind of stuff, gray infrastructure. Leading the Nature Conservancy, I argued with others for investments in ecosystems, barrier islands, dunes, oyster reefs, wetlands. We really have evidence now that investments in nature, green infrastructure, actually do the job better many times, cost less, and then there's a whole bunch of co-benefits from investing in the environment, protecting our environment.
What about in China? I know that that's another area that you've been working with the government in order to invest in nature.
China really gets this. Again, it arises a little bit from bad news. In the late 90s, they had horrific floods in the Yangtze region, horrific. Why did they have these floods? Because they had had deforestation. As China was growing, they needed timber, and they were doing wholesale timber operations. Then these floods occur. The Chinese government goes back and says, wow, how did we let this happen? And they went back and did an economic analysis. They concluded that the value of the standing forest was 3 times what the value of the realized timber sales were. But their accounting systems didn't account for that. That extra value was in flood control. Forests absorb floodwaters. Forests also protect topsoil. In these floods, they lost their topsoil, bad for ag, and that topsoil flowed into the rivers, sedimentation, killing fish. And then, of course, there was wholesale destruction of livelihoods and homes and things. So there's good news, though. China learned their lesson. They stopped deforestation in China, and they've launched the biggest reforestation program in human history. So again, China is investing in nature for practical reasons, not tree-hugging reasons, practical reasons to protect against floods, to protect topsoil, to sequester carbon, etc.
So that's interesting, because I think there's an issue about valuing nature that has been an issue at Davos around the world for the last couple of years. Have you seen changes in that? Do you see strides being made forward to make more people, more governments aware that you can value it?
It's a great question. So good work is underway. You're right. It's easy to talk about valuing nature or investing in nature, but it's hard to do, because imagine you're the business person or government leader responsible for making an investment. You can't do it on a touchy-feely basis. You have to really know if it will work. We have an interesting project underway on that front with Dow Chemical. A lot of people say, Mark, why would the Nature Conservancy ever partner with Dow Chemical? It's this big chemical plant company. You know, it's not good for nature. But their CEO, Andrew Liveris, understands the argument for investments in natural capital. He could imagine that it would benefit Dow to make those investments. So we have a project where we have TNC scientists on the one hand, Dow engineers on the other hand, working together, thinking about the natural capital that Dow depends on, what it's worth, what its value is, and then asking really practical questions that are important. For example, in their big manufacturing facility in Texas, it's right on the coast, should Dow be investing in seawalls to protect from storms, or should they be investing in coastal ecosystems? And we're really doing the nuts and bolts work so that the engineers of Dow can make a very precise and confident conclusion. That's important work, so we get from theory to practice.
Mark, thank you so much for coming back to the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.
Thanks.